Welcome to the second episode of EquiTalks. In today's episode, I'll be talking about Italpinas Development Corporation, or IDC. So let's take a look at the chart of IDC. As of 2:17 p.m. March 7, 2019, Thursday, IDC is moving at 5.28 pesos per share, 5 pesos and 28 centavos per share, with an intraday high of 5.46 and an intraday low of 4.82. This green candlestick is partnered with a bullish volume that is moving above the 10-day volume average. I like this combination of this green candlestick that is supported by a strong volume because this is an indication that the ascent in price is well received, it's well supported by the traders. Psychologically speaking, traders think that it's worth it to buy IDC above 4.80. So when you see a green candlestick in a towering volume that is above its 10-day volume average, I translate that as a sign that there's a strong probability, a high probability for the price to continue its ascent. The immediate support of IDC is positioned at 4.35, while its immediate resistance is pegged near 5.65. The current price of IDC is closer to its immediate resistance than to its immediate support. So if we continue to see a bigger volume, if not bigger than today's volume, it could be still above the 10-day volume average, then we might see IDC piercing or breaking out above 5.65. But again, we prefer to see the ascent in price coupled by strong volume. How strong is strong? It should be above the 10-day volume average. That's my barometer. That's how I measure if the volume is relatively significant or not. So if it's above the 10-day volume average, it's relatively significant. Anything below the 10-day volume average, especially if it's below the 50% of the 10-day volume average, for me it's relatively weak. Okay. In connection to the alignment of the moving averages of IDC, I prefer to see IDC breaking out above 5.65 because if and when that happens, perhaps these shorter term simple moving averages will cross above the longer term ones, especially the position of the 10-day simple moving average above the 50-day and these two SMAs above the 200-day SMA. Right now, it's the exact opposite of what we hope to see. I'm referring to the alignment of the moving averages. We prefer to see this blue line below the red line and the red line below the green line. And I think that will only happen if the price breaks out above 5.65. And if and when that happens, and it is coupled with volume, then there's again a high probability for the price to continue its ascent above near the next resistance at 7.60. Otherwise, if we will continue to see green candlesticks, but volume is relatively weak or low, then there's a probability then for the price to just bounce away from 5.65 and retrace or retest its support at 4.35. So when that happens, we might just see IDC continue to just trade the range. And what range is that? That's 4.35 and 5.65. And mind you, IDC has just been playing between this range or within this range since December 2018. So in technical analysis, we say that history repeats itself. So if you are holding a position in IDC, you should be more cautious, especially now that the price is much closer to 5.65 than to its support at 4.35. Now, as far as the risk level of this stock is concerned, I can say that IDC is already a moderate risk stock because of its volatility score of 75%. MACD is already moving above the signal line, and it's bullish. It's obviously bullish in the short term, but we want to see a breakout from the resistance so that the ascent in price, the bullish conviction will be higher when that happens, especially again if it's coupled with a strong volume. Now, if you are trading this name, I would like to give you my volume review. So looking at my account with First Metrosec Pro, when you go on, when you type in IDC and you click on the volume review tab, you will be able to see the price points that get the biggest volume and the highest number of trades. So in this case, if there's a price range that I think you should watch out for IDC, it should be between let me check on the volume review tab. It should be between 5.30 all the way to 5.40. Okay, again, that's 5.30 all the way to 5.40. For me, I think based on what I see here, it's a strong range, 5.30 to 5.40, because that's the range that got the biggest volume and the highest number of trades. But considering the fact that the IDC is currently trading at 5 pesos and 28 centavos as I speak, it would be more prudent to be risk averse on on the range of prices that we want to monitor. So I would say while the price is below 5.30, I would suggest that you adjust the range that you would like to monitor below at 5 point. Let me just check on the volume review tab. You should again, while the price is moving below 5.30, I would recommend that you monitor the price below 5.25. By the way, 5.25 got about 6% of today's volume, and it got 85 trades. Now, if the price continues to go up, especially once it touches the 5.30 level again, then I would suggest that you monitor 5.30 to 5.40. Okay, so I've given you two scenarios depending on the current price that you're going to see on the bid-ask spread for IDC. And as of this time of reporting, IDC has a net foreign worth 1.2 million, and take note that's a net foreign selling. Net foreign selling. Speaking about net foreign trade for 2019 year to date, based on the net foreign trades histogram here, I would say that IDC is on a net foreign selling status year to date. Net foreign selling status 2019 year to date. So my overall sentiment for IDC is neutral to bullish. I am not completely bullish yet because of the probability for the price to just bounce away, to repeat the history, to bounce away from 5.65 once it touches or once it draws closer to 5.65. But that is subject to change if once it touches 5.65 we still see a strong volume, then perhaps I would consider changing my overall sentiment from neutral to bullish to completely bullish. But as of the moment, my overall sentiment is neutral to bullish. I have some reservations still. If you have a position in IDC, this is my suggestion. First, which is higher, your average price or the current price of IDC? If your average price is higher than the current price of IDC, then I would suggest basing the calculation of your trailing stop loss from your average price. On the other hand, if your average price is lower than the current price, then you have to recalculate your trailing stop loss from the current price of the stock. You have to do that so you will you will get a bigger amount from your trailing stop loss. Remember, your trailing stop loss does three-letter P's for you. Number one, it preserves your capital. It will help you preserve your capital. Number two, it will help you protect your gains if there's any. Number three, it will help you prevent unbearable losses. Okay? So remember those two scenarios that I've mentioned. Now, what if you don't have a position yet on IDC? Is it quote-unquote okay to enter a new position in IDC? If you are an experienced trader and if your risk level is from moderate to high, then I would suggest you can do a test buy between those ranges that I mentioned a while ago. But if you are a relatively new trader and your risk profile is on a low level, I would suggest you try to find other stocks, or maybe you need to wait for IDC to retrace closer to its support near 4.35. Okay, you wait for the price to correct near the 4.35 level. Mind you, IDC now has a moderate risk level because of its volatility score of 75%. So there you go for IDC, or Italpinas Development Corporation. You've heard my technical analysis. I've given you my overall sentiment. I've also shared with you some trade setups depending on whether you have a position on the stock already or you're still in the planning stage on whether or not you will trade the name. And you've also heard some bonus tips on how you should calculate your trailing stop loss, where you should base it, depending on which one is higher, your average price or the current price. So I hope you've learned something here in the second episode of EquiTalks. My name is JZ De Guzman of Equilist Analytics. If you'd like to learn more about our services and how we help Filipinos trade independently and invest profitably, please visit www.equilist.com. This is the website. Thank you and have a great day.